I don't think Thank You Next is Ariana's best album, but I do think it's her most important. Welcome back to Eras of Ari, my
Yeah.
series where I'm decorating a cake inspired by every Ariana Grande album leading up to Petal. Today we're talking about Thank You Next, and I don't think it's a coincidence that so many of us connected with this album. I know I did. At the time, I was in a relationship where I kept falling in love with who I hoped someone would become instead of who they were. And I know that's not just my story. I think that's why Thank You Next resonated with so many of us. Because whether you were in a relationship, a situationship, or trying to move on from one, this album gave us words for feelings we didn't really know how to explain yet. When I think about this era, I don't just think about the album. I think about how honest she was while living through one of the hardest seasons of her life. And I think about the women who helped bring this era to life. So let's give Victoria Monet her flowers because this era would have not felt the same way without her. And one of my favorite things about this time wasn't just the music. It was seeing Ariana surrounded by women who were helping her create through her heartache. You felt that friendship in songs like Monopoly, you saw it in Seven Rings, and that's something a lot of us can relate to because when a relationship falls apart, it's usually your friends who help you remember who you are. Song after song, this era felt like different stages of healing. Imagine felt like grieving the version of someone you wish existed. Boyfriend perfectly captured the frustration of being stuck in something undefined. And for me, In My Head was the song that captured the message of the whole album. It's not just about one relationship. I think it's about realizing a pattern of seeing the best in people, even when that version of them doesn't actually exist. It's realizing you've been filling in the blanks and believing their potential instead of paying attention to their actions. And I think it's safe to say a lot of us have done that. Not because we're naive, but because we love deeply. Eventually, you realize something that's really hard to accept. You can love someone with your whole entire heart and still know they're not good for you. And learning to separate the two things might be the hardest part of moving on. Thank You Next was never just a breakup album to me, it was a healing album. It reminds us that moving on isn't just about loving someone less. Sometimes it's about finally loving yourself enough to stop settling for confusion and chaos. So, next up, Sweetener. And after everything Thank You Next put us through, I feel like we all deserve a little lover girl healing. So, I gotta know, what's one red flag you ignored that you'll never ignore again? And if you've been enjoying this series, stick around because we're not just making albums, we're reliving them.